What's going on, everybody? The Cornerman underscore MMA, Ryan the Mighty Quinn here with one of the most talked about fighters right now, Smiling Sam Alvey. How are you, sir?
I am doing wonderful. How are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. With everything going on, first of all, with your face and the injury, tell us a little bit about that. I kind of asked you right before we went on.
Yeah. So, like the first damn punch that dude threw, he broke my jaw. It's like, son of a
Yeah.
bitch. It was like immediately, like, oh, this sucks. And it didn't hurt, but it just didn't feel right. Like it didn't sit. It's like, oh. And I had broken my jaw before.
Uh,
And so I knew immediately what it was. Like, ah. So I started keeping my mouth shut a little more so the ref wouldn't stop anything.
Still
But then I
smiling.
went for the rest of the fight. So the ref didn't really come into play. Although I still say it was stopped early. I don't know that it would have gotten any better for me, but it was stopped early.
Yeah, there's been a little bit more early stoppages lately, I felt. I
This
think.
is off the wall reason, but I think Disney has to do with it. ESPN's owned by Disney. I think Disney says I don't want so much blood anymore, and
Dude.
I don't know if they're talking to commissions or what's going on, but that's my unscientific, unfounded assumption.
You're not the only one that thinks that. I've had this conversation with people. I remember when what was it? After Fuel TV, when Fox Sports started getting the fight nights, there was a lot more earlier stoppages via cuts and knockouts,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all like, dude, it's got to be because it's on basic cable. And then
Mm-hmm.
once it's on the pay-per-view, yeah, it's things get a little more heavy. Like they let the R-rated PG-13 fights happen. But
Yeah.
no, I did want to say this though. Like I said, we met a few years ago, and I just for those of you who don't know, like the Smiling Sam, that's not a gimmick. Like you really smile all the time. You're always in a good mood. I remember we grappled a little bit, like you were smiling. And then I remember the first time I saw you, you were cornering Chris Curtis, and I was writing down, asking him questions, and I was like peeking out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, I'm gonna catch this guy not smiling. I'm like, he's still smiling. This guy does not stop. He's always in a good mood. And like, dude, man, so all right, so let's just talk about like why you're a big buzz now. Well, I mean, I hate to say infamous, but
I set
you
a new
just
world
lost.
record. I set a world
Yeah,
record. Yeah.
dude. Who was your last win again?
It would have been the
Was it
The
Rashad
New
Evans?
Yorker,
Yeah.
John Vellante. Yeah.
Okay. I remember I was like, dude, man, Sam beat Rashad Evans, and like I just and like you're a great fighter. And anyway, we're not gonna get into that, but like we're just gonna talk about like the record you set, and like the buzz behind it, and everyone loves it, and everyone was like fighting for you not to get released and everything. And I
Yeah.
remember.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go. You go.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was leading up to the fight. Everyone's, oh, you better be nervous. You're gonna take BJ Penn's record. You're gonna be the most, the longest streak without a win in the UFC. Said,
Mhm.
I don't think so. I'm gonna win this fight. I'm gonna shut everyone up. I'll tie BJ Penn. I'm okay with that. And yeah, it didn't work out that way. I did not tie BJ Penn. I have set the record for myself. Now that being said, and
Uh-huh.
I hate saying it because now it's me just going back and justifying it. I won a lot of those fights that I lost.
Yes, there was a lot of. Yeah, I agree.
I,
I. Mhm,
there's at least, I think, four. I think I won
mhm.
four of them. I would argue hardcore to the death about three of them.
On the following Sunday, I went through your Tapology account. I was talking to him like, dude, I remember I thought he won that fight. Like there was a couple of them in there. I'm like, dude, all right, yeah. So it's not like what like okay on paper, yeah, but like BJ Penn was really losing his last few fights,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Now, I
were
should
in
say,
your fights.
my last few fights, I was losing. Like my last fight, I got my ass whooped. The fight before that, although I was winning until I lost. But the Wellington Turman fight, I won that fight. That one, that the judges had to bend me over so far to make that a loss. I don't
Mm.
know how they did it. I didn't think I was that flexible. But I apparently, man.
I'm gonna go back and watch that fight. One of the things I do on this channel is on Sundays I break down controversial decisions that happened the night before. But I think this Sunday I'll do that one because I've been talking with a lot of judges lately, and I'm getting up on the criteria. But let's go into the next part of it. So you started posting all the memes. Internet is brutal, but you were posting it and just they were like just I was watching them like this, as I'm sitting on the toilet watching your stories. Like I'm just like. Oh, wow. My favorite one is the one where you're grabbing Dana White and we're done when I say we're done. That was the best one.
That was my favorite too. That was actually the guy. It's this hat. I got to send this hat to him. I got to remember to do that. But yeah, he won. He won. That one got me. Uh,
Yeah.
there were a lot of good ones. There were some that were like mean. Like, oh, I told everyone, send me whatever you got and I will post it. The mean I posted, but I much preferred the funny ones.
Yeah, man. No, the funny ones were great. You don't got to be mean. Like that's, I don't, like, you don't got to be mean. So, all right. So now what is next? Let's talk about what's next.
So what's next? You got me. I am
Uh,
going overseas for about 2 weeks. I'm going to be doing a
cool.
military goodwill trip. I'm going to
Great.
Kosovo, Romania, Bulgaria, and Poland. And I'm just going
Awesome.
military base to military base, giving seminars, signing autographs, shaking babies, that kind of thing. And that'll be for about 2 weeks. I leave on Sunday. When I get back from there, I still won't be allowed to eat solid food, so I still might take
Mhm.
another week or two. Once I start eating, solid food again, then I'll start reaching out, start thinking what's going to happen next, where I'm going to fight next. Because
Yeah.
after this many losses, and I hate saying it, but after this many
Mhm.
losses, you got to start thinking, well, at what point am I just getting hurt?
Mhm.
Um, and I trust my team. I'm not
Yeah.
getting hit that much as people think, oh, Sam, if you
Yeah.
look at my career, I've never been a guy that sits and trades. I've been a guy that hits and they fall or hit and I fall, I guess,
Mhm.
recently. I've taken very close care of what's going on with my brain because it is true. My last 4 fights, I've been hit.
Mhm.
So I'm taking a lot of time off between fights before I start looking at anything again. I'm not going to be training or sparring for a while. And then I'm going to look at what I want to do from there. The obvious choice for me is a Jake Paul. That I trying to be smiling Sam when talking about Jake Paul, but he's just a guy I don't like. I've met him once, and that was too
Mhm.
much. He's I think he's a joke in this. I'm trying to be nice. I,
Yeah.
he's not
All
he's
right.
not good at what he does, but he tries to claim he's good at what he does. And I would love the
Right.
opportunity to be the first guy he's fought that is his size and is
Mhm.
primarily a striker. I think I would be I'm not quite a boxer, so I mean they would still be able to say, well, you've never fought a boxer, but he
Well,
has
he's
fought a
not
striker.
either. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, he'd be able to say he's fought a striker. I've got over 30 knockouts. I pretty heavy handed. I move well enough, often enough, and
Mhm.
think that I think with a little bit of history I have with him, I think the fight would sell. I think it would be golden, and I think I would put him to bed in under 3 minutes.
I agree. Before we get into that, I want to stop a little bit with what you said. One of the things I like doing here is stuff that we could talk to younger fighters about, and I love that you said that you have great people around you that are worried about your health and everything like that. We've seen, especially like I feel like our generation of fighters is starting to learn that and how important that is to just take care of yourself a little bit better than the previous generation. It's so big that you say, all right, we're talking, we're being real with it, and you couldn't have hit that nail on the head any better. And I'm really glad that things are well and everyone's on the same page with your team in camp.
Yeah, the things we're primarily looking at is if I'm ever slurring words. Although
Mhm.
I am a little bit right now, it's only because I've got the broken jaw.
Yeah, yeah,
Certain words like the Y sound, anything I say with the Y kind of hurts it a little bit. So I've got to
uh,
talk a little slower right now. Um, but other than that, if you watch my TikTok and my YouTube, I talk a mile a minute, and I'm having no problem with that.
yeah,
Memory loss, I'm no worse than I've ever been.
yeah, yeah. I know what that's about.
I am a typical husband, so I forget it as soon as she says it, but I'm no worse now
Yeah.
than I used to be. And I don't have headaches. I'm not prone to anger any more than I used to be.
Hmm.
I get CAT scanned. I'm more concerned about brain tumors at the rate I'm getting CAT scanned than I am about a CTE or anything like that.
Yeah.
So it really is something I will trust my team. My wife, particularly,
Hmm.
when she says, "All right, Sam, no, it's enough is enough." But I don't get hit that much outside of fights now. I'm one of the more experienced, one of the bigger fighters in the gym. So I'll take my lumps, but it's not like beginning fighters do. Beginning fighters are at the small end and getting beat up by the good fighters. I'm now
Yeah.
one of the outside of what my record says. I'm now one of the good fighters, and I really don't get hit that hard outside of fights.
Awesome. Yeah. No, yeah. We learn how to train as things go on.
Mhm.
Save the damage for the cage and the ring. All right. So back to Jake Paul. I agree with you what you said. You are a natural striker. You know, you're a striker by trade, as opposed to Tyron Woodley, one of the most explosive fighters ever. One of the most explosive fighters I've ever trained with. Ben Askren was not. um, we'll just leave that there. But Tyron, yeah, he doesn't have the traditional striking sense. He has an explosive right hand, left hook, right hand, left hook. You move, you flow with your striking. Yeah, kickboxing, boxing a little bit different. But Jake, if we're gonna call Jake something, he's more of a wrestler than he is, a striker. He has had favorable opponents in that aspect when it comes to that. I do think it sells as well. You are someone who's more in your prime than the past two. Um, I definitely want to see that. You're the type of fighter that we wanted to send to the front lines when it came to the Jake Paul fights and the boxing and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about the interaction. I know I heard the Ariel Helwani with him and his brother. Reiterate that a little bit, please. You don't have to go through the whole thing. Just sum it up.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It was about 5 years ago we sparred, and I really haven't talked much about it for the last 5 years because if it happens in the gym, it stays in the gym kind of thing.
Right,
But
right. We're the same way. Yeah, there's a code.
he's such a douchebag.
Mhm.
He deserves nothing good to be said about him. I can't stand him, and if you look at the rap sheet he has on him too, I'm trying to be as positive about him as I can. But anyways, I think it's time. It's been enough time. I can talk about it. I'd be fine if somebody talked about what they did to me 5 years ago too. So I think I can justify it. I was brought in. I met with their boxing coach. Milton was his name. They said, "Hey Sam, come on in." I said, "Okay, that's great." And he actually. So this I didn't say this part on Ariel. I met with Milt. I was going to the MMA Junkie Awards in Vegas, and a boxing coach recognized me. "Hey, you're a fighter, right?" So yeah, we kind of talked. He said, "Hey, have you ever heard of the Logan Paul or Jake Paul?" I said, No. I had no idea who he was. So as we were talking, well, you should Google him. So I Googled him real quick. It's like, holy hell, he's got like 1 billion people on YouTube. So he's kind of a big deal. Yeah, well, they're looking at starting their boxing career, and you're about the right size. Would you be willing to come out and spar? I said, sure, why not? Not really thinking it would go further. We exchanged numbers, and that was it. And he hit me up like 3 weeks later. Said, hey, we're not far from you. Would you come on out? I said, sure thing. So I geared up. I went out there, and I don't know if they still have it, but it was like the most beautiful house I'd ever been in. It was just massive. It was like a castle. I went inside and they had an Olympic sized boxing ring set up in their living room, and they were all just shooting the breeze and joking around and stuff. Said, hey, how's it going? And we got to spar. I sparred with Logan first, and it didn't go well for him. And I was trying. So, I mean, I knew what I was brought in for. I knew who he was. I'm very good at sparring with people that aren't fighters.
Carrying, yeah.
Just carrying him. I'm trying to give him work. I'm not going to let him hit me for free, but I'm going to let him work around whatever I'm throwing. And he just kept running into my jabs, and one of them hit him and it sprung him back a bit. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I look at Milton. I said, I'm sorry. He said, you're supposed to pull everything. I said, I did. I didn't. I pulled it. He ran into it. I swear. Which is what everybody says. Now that I say,
Yeah.
but Dan Henderson has said his entire career is that I pulled the punch. He kind of walked into it. So okay. I swear, Logan kind of walked into it. I apologize. He took 5 minutes, but we got back. We finished 2 or 3 more rounds. And that was that. I was supposed to spar with Jake too, but Jake said no. I'm not interested anymore. I said, all right, I can go lighter. I can just move and let you hit me. I said, no, it's all good. I got to hit mitts anyways. So okay, it's fine with me. So we kind of sat around. He hit mitts for a little bit, and then I got to get out of there. Never got a call back. Never got invited back to spar again. So I was disappointed. I wanted to go in there and work with him again, and I've been rooting for at least Logan for all of his fights.
Yeah.
Jake. I thought Jake was going to lose all of them, and he didn't.
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
He proved me wrong every time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he I mean, to their credit, they are athletes. I know they had a solid high school wrestling background. Um, but yeah, I think it's time, like everyone else, the build is done. The foundation is set. Let's fight real fighters. So let's get Sam Alvey in there. I'm all for that. I had a list of fighters I would have liked to see them fight, but this was like 4 or 5 months ago. I think that you were still in the UFC. So I was trying to think of people who were outside the UFC. And I think you're the you're the straw that stirs the drink to that promotion right now, my man. I think that you're the guy to do it once you heal up and you get done with everything, of course.
Yeah, if he needs me in 2 months, I'll be healed in 2 months.
Okay.
It all really is in his court, and if I don't end up fighting up, I'll be fine. I'll move on. I'll do something
Mhm.
else. The WWE has actually been the dream of mine since before I was a fighter. It has been what got me into exercise. It's what got me into everything.
Me
I don't.
too.
Oh, it is. I love it. I love the WWE. I don't want to say I like that McMahon is gone, but I'm very interested in seeing what happens next. Which
Mhm.
direction the organization goes, and maybe there's a route for me to get there too, which I would jump at if ever. I'd get to wrestle Logan Paul. I couldn't box Jake, but I'd get to wrestle Logan.
I wonder if I know some people that I could get you in touch with. We'll talk after. I do know a few people in that area, but I like that Triple H. I'm looking forward to seeing what Triple H does. Because Triple H, he's somewhat of a traditionalist as far as themes. Like the hell not the Hell in a Cell, the Elimination Chamber. I love.
Mhm.
He got that from. I don't know if you used to watch WCW, but he got that from War Games. And I
Mhm.
used to love the War Games, and I think that like he's big on building like the luchador style. Maybe he'll bring more of
Mhm.
that in. Like I think that WWE's in good hands. WWE's in good hands.
I feel good about it too. He was
Mhm.
around. He started off as Hunter Hearst Helmsley, the proper
Yeah, yeah.
ringside man. Started off with that. Didn't get
Mhm.
big till Degeneration X happened. The
Mhm.
Attitude Era. So he's kind of been around at the end of the gimmicky WWE and then the Attitude Era. Lately they've been limiting the amount of free mic time people get, and
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing if he starts looking for talent that can run their mouth like he could, like The Rock could, like Stone Cold
Mhm.
could, stuff like that. Because who's it? Seth Rollins does a little bit now, but
Yeah.
not many other guys are that good on the mic.
Yeah. No, yeah, it is limited for sure. So all right, Sam, you're handling everything like a champ, man. I think that, I think that there's still a lot for you out there, like you discussed with the Paul brothers and everything. I just can't wait to see what's next for you. Hoping to have you on after your next fight as a victory win, and or maybe even before. But again, can't appreciate you enough, and we'll be following. Best of luck with everything, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, my friends, and or my friend, and we'll talk again soon. I promise.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.